This video is a direct response to the allegations made against me, most notably by individuals such as Celestia and Erkbla.
Modulace released a video titled My Response to the Allegations. Now, if you're not aware of what's going on, essentially, Modulus was exposed for having a pretty lengthy history on the internet engaging in not safe for work content involving some kind of strange themes such as like hypno stuff and like animals and, you know, young looking characters that are both, you know, maybe animals and anime girls, things like that. And I guess that's the best way that I can really explain it for you. And before we get any further, I would just like to assert that the only take that I really have on this is that I have a pretty negative impression of Modulus based on these facts. As such, I had some pretty harsh words for Modulus, which I stand by. For some reason, Modulus made it a pretty big point to attack me in this response when pretty much the only thing I did was just assert that I don't like Modulus. Aside from that, Celestia's made a video covering Modulus' situation very briefly. It is my understanding that Celestius will be doing a more in-depth breakdown of Modulus' situation and more details about their past, specifically as a response to what Modulus did in this video, where they basically try to deflect all blame and manipulate everybody into thinking that they are innocent. But as far as my video here today, I'm simply going to be looking into the lies that Modulus told, their manipulation, as well as break down the hypocrisy of pretty much their entire video. Before we even get into the video itself, I want to take a look at the thumbnail of the video. As you can see, it shows both Celestius and I, and then right in the middle, some bold text saying, "They lied." This is intentionally framing the situation to believe that Modulus is a victim and that Celestius and I are maliciously attacking Modulus, not to mention all of the other people Modulus tries to throw under the bus as a defense. I won't speak on behalf of the other creators who are involved in this situation, as there's a lot of us, but I'm pretty certain that the majority of us don't like Modulus because we think that her past makes her a very strange individual. Me in particular, I tend to have a disliking for people who engage in deviant behaviors online. Where exactly is the lie in any of this? Are we lying to say that it's strange to engage with this stuff that Modulus engaged with in her past? I don't think that disliking somebody for their behaviors is a lie.
For about 2 months now, I've been harassed, my identity has been leaked, and even my private photos have been circulated online. Throughout all of this, misinformation and distortions have been spread unchecked. So, let's set the record straight. I'm not into Zulia. I'm not into.
In Modulus's open statement, the very first words out of her mouth are that she's being harassed, doxxed, and had private photos leaked, and then she immediately shifts the focus from what she did to how she feels. She insists that she is not into animals or young-looking character content, and that the evidence is all circumstantial or manipulated. But there's actually no evidence shown to be manipulated. She simply declares such. This introduction is an attempt to emotionally prime the audience for what is to come. She leads with sympathy, denies everything broadly, and dismisses specifics before anyone brings them up.
Let's go. Dog.
It was not an admission of guilt. It was satire.
Shit.
Sir. Sir? You're right, sir?
Yeah, what?
That horse. Get me that horse.
Get me the horse.
The video was an edited parody of a popular meme at the time.
When addressing her old TikToks, Modulus says that they were satire and that they were parody meant to mock stereotypes about furries. But the clips themselves don't mock those stereotypes, they act them out. It's just overtly suggestive humor involving an animal. She also points to others who made similar videos as if this normalizes her behavior. This is something very common that people on VRChat do. When they're called out for their inappropriate behaviors, they try to justify it with the way everybody else around them is doing similar things. Guys, watch. Ready for my Modulus impression? This one's going in my cringe collection. Guys, watch. I'm going to pull a Modulus right now, okay? I'm going to turn a funny meme into something funny, and it's not going to be weird. This one's going in my reality collection. Guys, I'm not a weirdo because it's just a funny meme. You understand? Me making every meme about having with animals is not weird. It's no secret that memes and trends sort of serve as a template for people to give their own spin on a funny joke. But why is it that Modulus feels the need to turn every single one of these situations into talking about having with animals. This is something that Modulus clearly overlooked and doesn't even have the presence of mind to consider. For me personally, all this does is reaffirm my belief that Modulus is a deranged and disturbed individual. Modulus's whole video is complaining that things are out of context, yet when you look at these things within the context that Modulus is somebody that consumes furry, the context only makes this more concerning.
Another point raised by Celestia is that I interacted with Holly content by replying to this specific Twitter post. To be clear, I didn't recognize the characters nor their ages, or that the artwork was considered Holly before I commented the meme that I did. That said, not knowing doesn't make my response to the post acceptable. I'm responsible for what I post and how it's received, regardless of intent or the time that's passed.
When addressing the breedable meme comment, Modulus admits it was poor judgment, but she claims she didn't realize the character's age. Then she says something that completely contradicts her entire video. She states, regardless of intent, I'm responsible for what I post and how it's perceived. That statement should apply to everything she's done, not just in this one instance. If intent doesn't matter, then the horse TikTok, the weird furry posts, and all of her other deleted material also falls under that same standard. But she only accepts responsibility when it's convenient. Everywhere else, it's taken out of context. Rather than address what's actually shown, Modulus attacks those who covered it. She accuses Celestios of being dishonest for calling her content strange, and she calls me part of a harassment group. The group chat she shows, with all of us in it, is presented as evidence of some kind of organized harassment. In reality, it's just a small group of creators researching the situation. She then goes on to label literally every single person involved as malicious or acting in bad faith, because it's easier for her to attack motives than the evidence.
He also admits that he actually knows nothing about the case, yet decides to still comment on it anyway.
Truthfully, I didn't dig too deep into this. I just know all the stuff they've collected. She then focuses on me talking about her situation on a live stream, stating that I know nothing about the case, yet I still commented. So the truth of that is that I don't need to investigate and know every detail in order to see enough information to make an opinion. The content speaks for itself. She then goes on to equate me making a TikTok using a meme song about horses with her own video about being attracted to a horse. The difference is obvious. One is a random joke with a meme song, the other is physically acting out the behavior.
He makes intellectually dishonest statements, such as,
also they had a Telegram account, by the way. Anybody that uses Telegram, you know for a fact they need to go to jail, immediately.
Considering that Telegram has over 1 billion active users and a large furry community presence, this statement unfairly paints anyone using the platform as involved in illegal or weird activity.
Telegram's reputation for hosting explicit and illegal material is widely recognized. That's the entire context behind what I was saying. Pretending not to understand that context is disingenuous. The average person has no purpose to use apps such as Telegram. Modulus then goes on to display a Discord ban screen labeled non-consensual adult content. She attempts to use this as proof of hypocrisy. At a surface level, that may suggest that I'm into some very inappropriate behaviors. I'm not sure if you've caught on at this point, but I do have a way of being pretty unfiltered in my criticism on other people. As such, when I am insulting or commenting on the actions of somebody who engaged with some sort of predatory behavior, Discord sees me commenting on this as me being the one doing these things. For example, I was once criticizing a grown woman who was allowing a to DoorDash her food and toys. This resulted in a violation on my account. Modulus condemns out of context framing, yet does the exact same thing to others when it benefits her.
This is illegal. My selfies and any videos of my face were not public information, and you could not find them by searching Modulace, Ugbla, or anything similar. Ugbla doesn't care about protecting the identities of those that present him evidence, whether it's obtained legally or otherwise.
Modulus goes on to accuse me of posting an old selfie of her as a form of intimidation and harassment, calling it illegal, and claiming that I do not care about protecting sources. Again, this is another deliberately misleading statement. The photo was privately shared by Modulus years ago. It wasn't hacked or stolen, and more importantly, the accusation that I don't protect sources is dangerous and dishonest. As somebody who routinely works with victims of predatory behavior and has never shared information against a victim's consent.
Tut. Associated with Ginge, Milo, Birthday in 06, Raw, and Joshua Graham, Redgrave server admin. Ted has not only been complicit in harassment of me.
When Modulus runs out of defense, she starts blaming everybody involved. She accuses them all of harassment. Roar made a gif out of one of her old TikToks. That's harassment. Hut posted an edgy meme. That's actual imagery in front of. And Ratgrave was once accused of flirting, therefore he's similar to her. This is deflection. The more people she blames, the smaller her own guilt looks. She's essentially just attempting to make her controversy feel like a mob attack instead of a personal issue that she has. Modulus constantly shifts the moral goalposts. When she follows an artist making inappropriate content, that does not mean she endorses them. But when someone in another server posts a comment, that means they endorse harassment. When she deletes her history, that's privacy. But when others preserve her history, that's harassment. When her own posts are or suggestive, it's satire, but when others make those jokes, it's deviant. Every standard she applies to others, she refuses to follow herself. And finally, on her response video, all dissenting comments are deleted. Meanwhile, supportive comments are pinned and liked and left on the video. By her own logic, if failing to moderate harassment is endorsement, then she is directly endorsing harassment against others. It's the same manipulation pattern everywhere. Silence, criticism, and then amplify her own support. And then she calls it transparency. Near the end of the video, Modulus claims she deleted her content for privacy, not to hide guilt, but the timing says otherwise. The deletions happen only after the allegations were surfaced. She then calls archiving her public material illegal and equates criticism with weaponized data. And then she closes out the video with that classic YouTuber thing where they say something really dramatic and put their hand over the camera and black it out, trying to make it come off as very dramatic, all in an effort to make it feel sincere and emotional, like Modulus is somehow a victim in this situation. She ends the video by accusing us of monetizing lies, implying that criticism of her is financially motivated rather than grounded with facts. Modulus does not engage with the evidence. She attacks the credibility, emotion, and context of the people calling her out. Every time she's cornered, she appeals to pity, law, or moral authority, and every accusation she makes about others, she's guilty of herself. Modulus, you are exposed for being a deviant, engaging in weird, not safe for work content consistently over the last decade of your life online. Just because you claim transparency in good faith, it does not mean that you actually follow those things yourself. Modulus's response is not a defense, it's all performative. Despite what she states, she is not asking people to think critically. She's asking them to choose sides emotionally. Because if people actually thought critically, they'd see the pattern. Every defense she gives is contradicted by her own behavior somewhere else in the same video. The irony is that Modulus claims to value honesty and context while stripping both from everyone else. I firmly believe that if you are not comfortable doing something in front of your family and friends at the dinner table in real life, you probably should not be doing it online. The fact that somebody would even attempt to defend this behavior is so out of touch with reality, and it really goes to show the state of mind that Modulus is in. Modulus's response only reaffirmed the harsh criticisms I had for her to begin with.
Herblot, if you're watching this, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. We're gonna have a fun time with Herblot. And thank you, please like, subscribe, and I guess see you in the next video.